Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Farmers Media where we connect, learn, and grow. I'm your host, Regina Ayanai.
And I am Mary Oswero.
This is the Mid Morning Show where we connect, learn, and grow. It is the one and only show that takes us to the deep world of understanding of what really fuels our farms. Anyway, Mary, how was your day? How was your night? Did you wake up?
I think even today I'm still having a good day. Yeah, it's a beautiful, it's still morning, right? When you're Kitengela kuna jua mingi sana, you can think that it's lunchtime. I'm having a good morning. I had a good night and I'm ready for the topic of the day. It's an interesting one. I think most farmers maybe don't know about it, but by the end of the show, definitely they would have learned something.
But before I even introduce the topic of the day, I would like you guys to continue watching us. We are still live on Facebook at Farmers Media, on YouTube at Farmers Media. Make sure you click our website at www.farmersmedia.com, and don't forget also to follow us on our Twitter at Farmers with a Z. Anyway, the topic for today was farm succession planning. What do you understand by farm succession planning, or rather, what comes into your mind when you hear something like that?
When you talk about farm succession planning, the S.
Very tough.
Farm succession planning, I think it's just a matter of maybe what comes in my mind is just retiring. Maybe from farming, farming is a career. Farming in one way is also a career. So maybe something like retiring, the successes that you have. That is what I'm thinking before we tackle the topic.
Yeah,
the successes that you've achieved as a farmer, and maybe what are your plans when you retire? Maybe who are you leaving behind for those your farming tools, or even your farm, or the person who will be inheriting, something like that.
Yeah, so farm succession is basically what Mary has just said, and it is the process of determining and also implementing the transition of ownership and management of a farm to the next generation or to a new owner. So this is whereby after farming for so long, you are even tired of farming, and maybe you are old enough for farming. You can't do something that you used to do in the past. Like for example, when people are young, they are very energetic towards farming activity, and as they grow old, the energy starts decreasing because the age also matters during farming, because if you are a farmer who doesn't use equipment like maybe technology in farming activities, you only use manual labor. You are farming yourself, like you are using these tools, the djembe for example. You are digging, you are the one who is plowing your farm. You are the one who is doing all the other labor. As a young person, that will be very easier, but as you age, it becomes even confusing and challenging.
I think I've only seen I've done a story of an old lady. That lady is a very powerful lady. Actually, I've done a story of a certain lady. Do I say lady or an old woman?
Yeah.
She's like my grandma because she's old enough. She's so old to an extent that unaona venye when someone grows so old, you bend.
Yes,
so for her, she has bent like enough, like bent kabisa. She's so down. I think she was, I think, 118 years. Yeah, but she was still strong, funny enough. Hizi maugonjwa zenye zinashika watu azikumpata.
Was she a farmer?
Yes, actually she was. That is what surprised me. When I was doing her story, I felt so inspired because she was that old, amebend hivo sana, but she was still farming. She was doing things by herself. She didn't have children. She even up to now, she's still there. She's doing things by herself. She goes to the farm. Imagine, she farms by herself. She collects firewood. She cooks by herself.
That's so touching.
Yeah, I think that is the oldest farmer I've ever met.
Wow.
And she's still doing things by herself, and she's doing it the manual way.
Yeah, just imagine someone like that. She loves this job of farming.
Yeah.
Like the farming job is so dear to her.
Yeah.
To an extent that she's still working even at that age. You see, so for you to continue with this farm succession planning, you have to identify a generation that will continue with this farming in other years to
Yeah,
come.
yeah.
Because you don't want this farming to die. You have struggled enough until that age to preserve this farm, to ensure that the farming activities are still ongoing. So for you to ensure that your future generation will continue with this farming and will also continue with all the practices you have implemented, you have to think properly and also choose properly who will inherit this farm, who will be in charge of this farm. So this is all about farm succession.
Yeah.
So there are other things that you might have to consider when doing this farm succession, and one of them is objective and goals. We all know that every farmer outside there has his or her objectives and has his or her goal. Maybe you have set a goal that by the time it reaches 5 years or in 4 years to come, I'll be this farmer, I'll be this type of farmer, I'll be managing a small scale farmer, or I'll be a small scale farmer, or even a medium scale or a large scale farmer. So for you to achieve this objective and you feel that you are not going to continue, maybe there is something unfortunate that has happened, because unfortunate things happen, and then you will say that let me pass this farm to someone else, but I'll ensure that they are meeting my objective. So you have to begin by discussing and clarifying the objectives and goals with all the family members involved, because to avoid the issues of the land or issues of farming, and then understand what each family member envisions for the future of the farm.
Yeah, actually, I think when I talk about goals that maybe a farmer who is retiring have, definitely there's a way that you can know, your family members at the end of the day. You know which ones can maintain whatever you have, if you have the same goals. Because when you start farming, maybe you're not starting it alone. There's a family member, or you've talked to them maybe, and now you know, this person can do farming. Like in my family, my mom knows each and every one of us, our strengths and our weaknesses. So even you as a farmer, you have to know in your family the strengths and the weaknesses of your people, so that by the time you are leaving that profession, by the time you want someone to inherit whatever you were having, you at least know you have someone at the back of your mind that has the same goals as yours. That is very, very important, by the way, our farmers. That is very, very important, so that at the end of the day, even if you are there at home, you don't feel that I left someone to run or manage my farm, but they're not doing whatever I want.
Yeah. So succession is something that is very crucial. It is something that should be taken seriously, because the moment you tell me that you are going to select a certain family member without involving the rest of the family member, the issues with that will arise in that particular land. People will start fighting of that land. The moment you are gone, or even if you are alive or somewhere, there will still be issues over that land, and you won't want your land to die out of the issues between the people. People are trying to split this farm because they are not satisfied with the decision you made. So for you to make such decisions, such important decisions such as farm succession, because majority of families are owning farms, like it is a family farm. It is not a one-person farm. So, but there is a major person. There is always this major person. It can be a grandma or someone else. That person is the one who is in charge of knowing who will be passed to. This farm will be passed to who next, you see? But the moment you take an initiative and sit all the family members there and tell them that I'm going to pass this farm to a particular person, and then everybody will have to obtain her reasons or defend herself or himself in a way that I want to succeed this farm, these are my objectives, these are my goals. And then the person in charge now will be able to determine who is an ambitious one, who is the person who is likely to pass this farm to generation after generations without the farm losing its value or without the farm dying.
Actually, that reminds me of these Nigerian movies. I never realized that Nigerian movies have the same storyline.
Yeah. They are similar.
Most of them, especially those ones that are done in the village. Mara, someone died and then left a land.
Yeah.
That piece of land, Mara, the person who was supposed to own it is the wife, or the uncle is coming to take the land. It's
and then
just
Mara,
fine.
the land is possessed.
Mara, the land.
It's really funny.
It's so important to have the right person to inherit your land. Don't follow those Nigerian movies, by the way.
Because I realized that Nigerian movies, they really love doing things with land and farms.
Yeah, farming.
They participate in farming a lot, and I think that is their main, their main activity.
It's just funny how someone is dying, then is leaving the land for the wife, and then again the brother of the person who died is coming to inherit the land by force. Aki, my friends, if you're a farmer even in Kenya, please have goals. Know the person who is going to inherit your farm and ensure the person inherits the farm legally.
Yeah, just in case you feel that when I die, you can die anything. We never know when you die.
Don't talk about death. You're talking about death as if it's something that is so nice.
Like, it's not about so nice. Like, I'm not saying death is nice. It depends. There are other people who die and it feels nice. Maybe the people who are very old and they really feel that.
And it feels nice.
Yeah, there are people who really want to die. Like the old people, most of them tend
to for them, maybe it feels nice for them. But the people whom they're leaving behind, it's not nice. I've never seen people happy that that person has died. It's not nice.
Yeah, like I'm just giving an example. So, people, like you can write a will so that when you die, then there is something in your will that indicates that this is the person who is going to inherit this farm.
Great, like let's not just talk about death. You can just retire and relax at home.
But if you fear, let me tell you, if you fear death, fear death.
You don't fear death?
I don't fear death.
Are you sure? And if you're told you're going to die the next 10 seconds, you'll be fine. You'll be ready.
That will be some people can't change their fate. If you are meant to die this way, you will still die that way.
No. Nobody should talk to me about fate or I will die.
I don't think people should fear death because it's something that is normal. It is a rite of passage. Everybody must pass through that rite of passage.
Let's not talk about death.
Anyway,
let's just assume that a farmer has retired and then now he or she is just there alive, but now another person is inheriting whatever she has.
I'm saying that in my point of view. For example, when my grandpa died, in his will it was written that my father should inherit the farm.
Let's avoid talking about death.
No, it's not that. We are trying to educate also our listeners.
No, death.
There are other people who can even farm until they die. Like they want to die farming because they love farming. There are other people whose spirits are about farming. The farming is running in their blood until they want to farm until they die. They are those kinds of farmers. And to those kind of farmers, you have to have already chosen someone to success your farm before anything else happens.
Let's just move to open communication. I hate discussing death. Anyway, so when I talk about open communication, when it comes to success in farming, this is what I mean. So regular family meetings ensures that everyone's voice is heard and that there is a mutual understanding of the plan's progress and challenges. So if you know you are owning a farm and maybe now you want someone else to inherit or even a family member, ensure that you have these meetings. It's so important. I'm not sure if all families have meetings. Most families, I see them having meetings during the December holidays. So ensure you have a regular family meeting so that you get to know the person who has been running the farm is almost retiring and now someone else has to step in. Ensure that each and every person's opinion is heard so that you get to know who is with you and who is not with you, and you also get to know who is interested so much in farming and the person who can easily manage that farm. So that is why it is advisable that when you have those meetings, don't just allow a few people to speak out their mind.
Allow everybody else to speak their mind.
It's good to allow everyone to speak out their mind so that you get to know everyone's peace of mind, everyone's idea, and you get to know maybe now there are 3 people who want to help you, who want to inherit that same farm. You can maybe hear from the 3 of them, then you get to know who can do it better.
Yeah, and you know that through those consulting their family members, it will be a very good thing because first of all, you'll be able to learn what has each and every family member has achieved in that farm. You will be able to identify that this person is doing a lot for this farm. This person is just lazy. He just want to inherit the farm and is doing nothing. You have to see also the potential of each and every member. Through those regular meetings, you'll be able to identify that this is the hardworking person. There is this person and there is this person. I'm going to see who will be more hardworking than the other. Like through that, you will also create a certain competitive environment whereby the farm will continue even to prosper because people are trying to prove that they can do this. And through that combined effort with the family members, the farm can go even further. And by the time you choose someone, the family members have already agreed that we all know that this person is always at working, he or she is always doing this. So they have a mutual understanding.
Actually, also, when you decide that you're going to be informing them about how you want someone to inherit the farm. Some people can pretend. People can pretend.
Yes, I know that.
Yes, so I think this is just my opinion. I'm not saying you follow it when you're retiring. This is just my opinion. Don't just give people time. Yes, they know you will retire, but they have no idea who will have the farm, maybe even a year before, and you just observe silently. Then you get to know who is pretending.
I'll also back up that one. I'll commend you for that.
Yes. You just relax even for a year. You just watch, observe who is doing well, who is pretending, who is not. Because when someone hears that you are retiring now, you want someone to be inheriting the farm, they can start putting so much effort on that farm 3 months to your retirement. So that person will be pretending, and maybe at the end of the day they'll not manage the farm well. So just observe from afar. That is, if you have the family members who are toxic, honestly. So if you're in such a family and you're about to retire, look for the best tricks before you choose the person who will be managing your farm once you retire.
Yeah, and then we have inventory of assets. You make sure that you have provided a detailed report, and also you have made a detailed list of all farms' assets, including land, equipment, livestock, and financial assets. Through this, you'll be able to track what is really happening in this farm. You'll track the finances that are used in different or various places around the farm. You'll be able to you'll be able to undergo through other many processes. Maybe you have realized that there are no equipment in your farm. If you buy equipment, then make sure that you are listing them down so that you won't have confusion to where your funds went. You will be able to, people forget very easily. You can use money and you won't remember where you used it for, what you used it for. And maybe you bought an equipment, a very important equipment for the farm, and also you bought many other things until you forgot that I used this amount of money to buy this equipment. So to avoid such confusion, and also to avoid other quarrels that may occur in the future due to finances, you have to make the list of all the items that you buy in the farm, the equipment, the finances that are used, so that it will make your work easier as a farmer.
I think that is just basically record keeping. It's so important to keep your records, so that at the end of the day, maybe you've bought an equipment, you've used it. That is, after you've kept your records, you've noted down, I bought this equipment at this price. Now I know I have maybe a jembe. I bought it at 500 shillings. Ikiharibika, when you repair it, you spent how much, so that the next time you are buying maybe another one, you buy a more quality one. Record keeping is always very important. It helps so many farmers actually, because at the end of the day, you know how much you've spent when buying those things. How many things you have and how many are still missing, that you can even go back to the shop and buy. So I'd encourage farmers to keep records and also collect data and know whatever is needed for your farm, whatever you can do, whatever people love from your farm. It's also important also to collect data as you're also keeping the records.
Yeah, make sure you identify the type of assets you are recording, because there are different types of assets. Let's say you have fixed assets, then put them in a way that you can differentiate them from the other assets, so that when it comes to calculation or other maybe other recollections, it will be easier for you as a farmer to also explain to others that these are the fixed assets and this is how it went.
Yes, so let's move to choosing successors. Actually, not all family members may be interested or have the skills necessary for managing the farm. It's vital to choose someone with the capability and interest. Just like we had mentioned before, don't just pick anyone to manage your farm.
Yeah, just because that person is your family, you just choose him or her just because he's your family.
Have you ever realized that in these families, in different families, people are born differently.
Yes.
People succeed differently. Maybe you realize that in a family there's a doctor, there's a lawyer, there's a shamba boy, and maybe there's someone who is jobless. And maybe this is not a bad example, but maybe that person who has succeeded, that rich person, yeye hana akili ya kumanage watu. But now this one who is jobless is so calm and can manage everything, can manage things that are around. But now unakuja una realize that people are just despising this person who is jobless. And then they really obey. This one happens sana. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. It's something I've come across so many times. In a family, they obey, they really respect the rich person, and then they despise the other person who doesn't have money. And
they know that this person is giving them money and the other person is using them.
So can you imagine you're choosing someone to manage your farm because the person is rich, but the person who is jobless can easily manage your farm. But because this other person is rich, now you feel that this person is the best person who can manage your farm. When you're choosing a successor, don't look at how someone has money, how someone has been favoring you. Wazazi wetu, old people, they really love doing that. They just respect those who have money.
Yeah, let me tell you, I'll tell you this point blank, and I'm just telling you in the point of educating you.
Yeah.
Choose someone who has a potential of continuing with this farm, of ensuring that your farm will last even for other generations.
Yeah.
So when choosing, it's not a must that the successor comes from your family, because that is where most people go wrong. It's not that I have one son, and yes, you have one son.
This son must be the one to inherit the
son might be lazy. Maybe he will wait that the moment you give him that farm, he will sell that farm. Choose someone who can sustain your farm. Even if it is your worker, there is other workers that you can trust. There are other laborers that are always very faithful to you as a farmer. They are hardworking. You can choose to leave the farm to him, but also copy your son. So he will be the one in charge, but he's not owning. So through him, he'll be able even to move this farm to many other generations. He will ensure that your farm is succeeding.
Like the story in the Bible, I don't know if you remember the story of two brothers who one brother decided to go and ask the father for his inheritance.
Yeah, I know that.
And then he ended up going with the inheritance. Yes. The lost son.
The lost son.
Spending all the money, and then at the end of the day, he was eating with the pigs. Don't be that person. When you're choosing a successor, don't just choose someone just because he's the only person, or because he's insisting that you choose him. Choose well, like know the person who can really manage for you your farms when you retire.
Yeah, and then we have the develop a transition plan. Plan. I'm using plans so many times. Today I'm
shamba imekuingia.
Anyway, develop a transition plan. This includes timelines for transferring responsibilities, training, and mentorship program. So if you have these transition plans, it will be very easier for you as a farmer, because when you say that from this time to this time, let's say from this year to next year, I'll put Samuel, let's give an example, I'll put Samuel in charge of all the farming activities that are undergoing. He'll be like a supervisor. And then from next year, but I'll put John to be in charge. I'll replace John with Samuel to ensure that you are seeing each one of them. What are they doing?
The efforts.
The efforts. So the transition planning is also important. How you transition. Also ensure that you have set up the timeline for mentoring programs. Maybe today you send these people to the mentorship program. They learn something and then they come to explain to you, or you go yourself. So you have also to ensure that the transition timeline is crucial.
Yeah, and actually that transition timeline is always very good, because at the end of the day you'll see the effort someone makes in your farm. You'll compare maybe the results after now the first year, now that another person comes, and then the other person also works for another year. You can compare between the 2 years. Which year did better, which year did best, where can you improve. Actually, the transitioning process is good because you will know at the end of the day where you can improve, what you can add. So that is the crucial and important part of it.
And again, make sure that you are also overseeing through the transferring of responsibility, because there is someone who is always very lucky enough to get what he or she wants, and then she tends to relax on her job. You see, when she relaxes there, then there will be anything going on in your farm. So in terms of transferring responsibilities, give each person something that is capable of doing, not something that that person will be able to relax and do whatever he or she wants. You see. So during transferring responsibilities, make sure you know each person in person. Like you know them in person. You know that this person is capable of doing this, and I'm going to give him this. Through that, it will be very easier between the workers. They won't have to, to share the work in a way that it is unfair or unjust. Everybody will be able to do what he or she is capable of.
Actually, before you continue, let me ask you. Now, let's assume you're a farmer who is retiring. And then you really need to choose someone. Let me give you a challenge. You have 3 children. I'm not saying you have them now. Okay. This is just an example. You have 3 children. All of them, you have 3 sons. There's no daughter. Or let me add your daughter. You have 4 children, 3 sons, 1 daughter. And then you're a farmer who is retiring. Now you need someone to be helping you manage your farms. The firstborn is not so well off. He's just let me just say he's just a what career can I give this your first son? I want to give you a basic.
Let's say it's an online writer.
In fact, an online writer is better. Yes, your first son is jobless. Let me see, your first son is jobless. Your second son is a teacher, a principal, to be precise. Your third son is a bank manager, and then your daughter, who is already married elsewhere, is maybe a secretary. And then now you are retiring. What criteria would you use? Your first son is definitely is a firstborn. He helps you raise these other kids. So he's someone who can do it. The secondborn, unajua tu venye watoto wa katikati wanakuanga. The thirdborn, and then you have the lastborn daughter with the secretary. But now the lastborn, she's a lastborn. You see the characteristics of characteristics of a lastborn. She's the only girl, and now she feels that she owns your home. She's also the owner of that home because she's the only girl. And now it's time for you to retire, and now you need to hand over your farm to someone else. Tell me the criteria you'd use when choosing the person who will inherit your farm. I want to hear how you will choose that rich person.
It's a position for me actually, because first of all, I'm someone who has already observed characters of each and every person. First of all, if my first son lacks a job, what makes him lack a job? I'll first identify why he doesn't have a job. If he's lazy, then I won't leave him.
No, when I was starting, I told you he helped you raise these other kids. That's why, he was the firstborn. He helped you raise these other kids. This is what I mean when I tell you he helped you raise the other kids. He left school for them. Yes.
Yeah, then he's a responsible person. So if I identify that this firstborn is a responsible person, I also have to consider the rest of the kids. The kid who is a principal has too much responsibilities on his hand that he'll even forget that he has something like a farm. So through that, controlling his school and also doing something else, it will be very difficult for him even to concentrate on the farm. So he's busy with his life. Now the second one, I remove the first one, the second one in the list, the principal in the list. The teacher, I'll also remove him in the list. You already have something.
No, you just have that principal, a secretary, and a bank manager.
Yeah, a bank manager, I've removed him from the list because he can't manage a bank. He can't be going to the bank to manage each and every day, and he can't see what is happening in the farm. The farm needs to be scouted each and every time. It needs crucial attention.
See that the bank manager has so much money, he can employ laborers.
Not even like that. No, he can employ laborers, but it also requires supervision from the higher body. If you're always busy in the bank doing all that thing, then you can't trust the laborers. There are other people that can't be trusted. Maybe they are going to the farm, they steal things from the farm. You are not there to supervise. Maybe they kuna vile wanaungananga and they do something to you that you won't accept. So I won't employ I remove the second son, the bank
manager.
Yeah. And then to my daughter, I won't even think of leaving her my farm because she will assume that most of the last one, they always assume that this is my father's property. I'll do anything with it, whatever I want, because it is my property. In fact, because my father will leave me. And again, he's married. She has a family already. When her husband hears of the farm, of course, he will continue to pressure her to get that farm. And that farm will perish for no reason.
Hey, I am out a girl child.
So, let me tell you, I won't leave that girl for the farm. And then I'll now find someone who is so responsible in taking care of my farm. Now, I'll take the firstborn and consider the fact that he's jobless, yes. And he's jobless, yes. I have a farm. Has he been helping me in the farm? If he has, then I'll think twice. You see, if he has been helping me in the farm, then I'll have to find someone else who I trust more. I trust that. Of course, there is always that one loyal worker who is always hardworking. He has stayed with me with so many years, and I know that he's so hardworking. Then I'll ensure that they are collaborating with now this son of mine to ensure that the farm is going on. And then the person who I've employed will be reporting to me directly.
Okay.
So this is what I'll do.
Okay. I don't know what our viewers think of our decision, but anyway, you can tell us in the comment section what you yourself will do. If at all you are in that situation.
Yeah, we are still live on Facebook at the Farmers Media, on YouTube at the Farmers Media, and make sure you click on our website at www.farmersmedia.com. Ensure that you read what we are, like what we do, what services we offer, because this is the Farmers Media where we connect, learn and grow.
Okay, then let's move to the retirement planning, because we've been talking about retiring. Now you need to have a plan. So ensure that the current generation can support themselves after handing over the farm. This could mean setting up a retirement fund or retaining certain assets. So when you're retiring, you need to have a plan at the end of the day, and you have a plan for the future generation. I've never had someone who is retiring and he or she is doing it for himself or herself if the person has a family. So when you're retiring, ensure you have a plan for your future generation. At least you keep some funds for them. You don't just squander everything. The money that you've been getting from your farms, you don't just squander everything. That's why it's always important to write a will, because now you know, this money I will give it when I retire. This money I'll give it to so and so. I'll give it to so and so, so that each and every person gets the correct proportion. Actually, yeah.
So when retiring, it is very important for you to ensure that you have kept aside certain amount of money that will enable the farming activities to continue.
Yes.
Because you can't just tell me that you are going to hand over the farm and you don't have anything. Like you don't have any funds that can.
You need to have the funds that you can start with. Even if you're handing over the farm to another person, that person also has to start somewhere. You don't expect the person who is inheriting the farm to just come and start with their own money.
Yeah,
definitely you are getting money from that farm, and even after getting money from that farm, you are keeping it well, so that when the next person is picking it, he knows where to start. And even if you have so many children, or you have so many people who are under you, the future generations, now you've kept something for them.
Yeah.
You are not just doing farming for yourself, you are doing it for your family.
Yeah, and it won't be very hard for them to pick the farming from where you left.
Yeah.
It will be very easier for them to continue with this farming activity without further problems. Yeah.
We also have legal structure. So depending on the country and region, there may be various legal structures to consider, such as trusts, corporations, or partnerships. So consult with a legal professional to determine the best structure. Yeah. So when you're retiring, definitely there's a retirement plan, right? That's why we are talking about a will. There's a retirement plan, because you can't write a will without a lawyer. You need a lawyer in order for you to draft some of the things. And also, if you are in a partnership with maybe someone, definitely you guys had written somewhere that you are partnering. So even when you are retiring and you are partnering with this person, you know how to divide You know how to divide the assets. You know, this person we partnered on this and this percentage, so the person will be taking maybe 30% and then I'll be remaining with 70%. You can only do that legally, because mkianza kufuata ati we said, you don't agree verbally. You need to do it legally, so that by the time you are retiring and it's time for you to divide these things, you don't need to argue, because there's somewhere you wrote down, you had a witness, you did it legally, there was someone, a lawyer who was there, or even a chief, a sub-chief, someone in the government or in the legal profession who was there to help you.
Yeah, and ensure that you are consulting someone, you are consulting a professional, not just a professional, you consult a legal professional.
Yeah, then you also have tax planning. So transitioning assets can have significant tax implication. It's crucial to consult with the tax professional to minimize the tax burden during the succession. Yeah.
So you also have to ensure that you can minimize these taxes. They can't drag you down as a farmer. They can't ensure that they are the reason why you fail.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we have financial planning. Ensure that the succeeding generation has access to the necessary finances to run the farm, and that the farm remains financially viable during and after the transition. So, for your future generation to continue with these farming activities, and for you to transfer this succeeding to the future generation, you have to ensure that you have provided the necessary finances for them. The finances that will enable them to continue with these farming activities, that can last them over the years, and that can ensure that the farm is running smoothly.
Actually, the most important part of that statement is they must have access. You need to give access to people who will be inheriting whatever you have. Because, I don't know, there are so many cases of someone, actually today I'm just talking about, or even someone is sick, let me not say death. Someone is sick, the person can't talk. I think I've seen someone who has been in that situation. The person can't talk, the person can't write. Now the family members do not have access to the money that he or she has in the bank. You don't have, like you as a family, you don't have access to anything, but this person is now laying here on a deathbed. It's so important now to, when you still have the energy, just allow your family to have access to everything that you're owning, so that at the end of the day, they know how to divide it, or so that at the end of the day, they don't feel that you're keeping so much to yourself. You're not telling them more about the farm that you have, the money that you collect there. That one can bring something like sibling rivalry, because they'll feel that maybe you as a parent, you're not doing well because you're not dividing the assets equally.
Okay, I'll correct you on one thing. Maybe you say that let your family access to your fund.
Yes.
I don't think you should let your family access to your fund.
Why?
Because let me tell you, it will cause a lot of struggle and quarrels between the family members. Just find one person you trust that can access these funds, so that anytime there is a problem, that person can be able to give out the funds.
Have you ever realized that even these people that you as a farmer, or the person who is retiring, you've decided to trust one person? Do you know that when you die, this person you trusted will take half of the money before he divides the rest?
You know what? When accessing funds are not like, I've seen farmers do that. There are other farmers in our area that practice farming, but they are in groups. There is a
partnership.
Yeah, there is fund. There is this fund whereby everybody, like anatoa pesa kidogo, like, or everybody in that group
is like a chama.
Yeah, is like a chama. But the person who is accessing this fund, kuna mwenye ako na kifuli, kuna mwenye ako na kifunguo,
but no, that is a chama.
Yeah, that is what now I'm trying to get.
But that is not a family.
Okay, let me try to bring it out.
Okay.
Just listen.
Okay.
So they use these funds. Kuna sanduku waneka pesa, and then there is someone who is in charge of this sanduku, who is keeping his house. There is another person who has the keys to this safe. That person is separate from the person who is having the sanduku. And then there is another person who must be told before you come and open this sanduku. You see, that is very safe, because nothing can happen.
Can I tell you something, Ayan? When you're talking about family members, is so different. You know, in chamas, people have different personalities. People came from different places. In a family, you are sharing the same blood. This is your family. People will keep on arguing and arguing. No, let's just assume that
nowadays, let me tell you, nowadays black is not thicker than water. Let me tell you, nowadays family members can really betray you. They can betray you.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Because just imagine, now only one person can access that money. Only one person can access that money. You are 5. You have 5 siblings, and just the first one or even the second one.
No,
wait.
I don't mean like. I think you understood me wrong. I don't mean that. I don't mean the family member is able to access the funds. I said someone outside the family.
No, there's no way you can give someone outside the family.
You can put the money in the bank and tell the bank that when I'm in trouble, only this person, there is that thing. I don't know, it's called what. It's like I don't know, but there is that thing that protects someone from some risks. When you put this money in the bank, there is a way that nobody else can obtain that money except the person you said.
So
maybe you say that you took the money in the bank and say that if anything happens, just give this money to my wife.
I think the best way to handle such situations, okay, let one person have access to the money, but let everybody know the amount of money that is there.
Yeah, that is now what you were arguing about.
Thank you.
So that is what I meant.
Let one person have access to the money, but everybody should know the amount, so that if at all this one person interferes with anything in that bank, everybody knows and they know how to handle it. Nowadays, sibling rivalry is too much.
Yeah, it is too much and it is hectic. So another one is review and revise. Farm succession planning isn't a one-time activity. It is crucial to review. It is crucial to review the plan regularly and make adjustments based on changes in the family, the farm, or the industry. Because don't just stick to one plan. That even if after 5 years you are still sticking in one plan, because that plan will fail you a big deal. So during this, you have to review your plans each and every time. If we say that my older son will be able to succeed this farm, and then with time you realize that your son is getting into drugs. Let's say, for example, he's getting into drugs, he's not coming home. You can't leave someone like that to your farm. So people also change in personalities. If you feel that this son has not been good enough for me, let me change something. So you have to review everything, all the rules you've placed in your plans, everything, so that you won't get confused or you won't fail in the future.
Actually, I think the best example for that point is also maybe when you were writing that retirement plan, you had 4 kids, and then now you give birth to another, the 5th one. Now you have to revise it because the 5th kid does not have anything.
Yeah, you had no plan that you will have another kid.
God just gave you a kid when you didn't expect.
Yeah, so when doing that, you have to plan also regularly, not just like after 1 year. No, you have to see it every month regularly. You have to see it after 1 month, you make adjustment. After another month, you make adjustment, because there are different changes that are happening in your family. There are different changes that are happening in the world.
So we're still continuing with the topic of the farm succession planning. Is it farm succession or farm succession? Farm succession planning. So certainly we still have other things that when you talk about farm succession planning, we need to touch on. Another one is conflict resolution, because I was saying that nowadays there's so much conflicts, especially after now you've retired and you've left people to inherit your property. People can fight for that. I've witnessed people literally fighting for the assets that someone left after he retired. So you have to know how to resolve this conflict. So it's natural for conflicts to arise during the succession planning process, given the emotional and financial stakes involved. So establishing a conflict resolution mechanism can be beneficial. This could include mediation or involving a neutral third party to guide difficult conversations. Let me just give an example of something that all Kenyans can relate with. During the 2007-2008 post-election, there was post-election violence in Kenya. The main reason was the late Mwai Kibaki had won. They claimed he had won, and then Honorable Raila also felt that there was a problem. There was something that was missing. He was the one who was supposed to win. So nobody was accepting. Everyone wanted to be, both of them, they all wanted to be the president. Raila was claiming that these people have stolen our votes. Mara, the lights went off when they were about to announce the president. Kibaki on this other side was saying he had been told that he's the president. He had been told. It was actually a funny story. How old were you then?
It is like Kibaki was sure that he was not sure that he was.
Yeah, that was what was actually hiyo ndio ilikuwa inafanyika. That was what was happening.
I think I was in class 5.
You were not yet. Class 5.
2000
year?
what?
2007.
2007.
Yeah.
I was in class 5. Yeah.
2007 you were not in class 5, because I was also not in class 5 because I was young
but
back
if
then.
I was born, okay.
Don't say your age on air.
By 5 years later, I was in class 1 in nursery school.
So that time, I think I kind of understood what was happening, because Kibaki, or the late Kibaki, was claiming Honorable Kivuitu had told him that he's the president. Honorable Raila on this other side was saying his votes had been stolen, and now there is no way Kibaki is the president. He's the president. Now there was war. That is why there was that post-election violence. So during that time, they had to call in a mediator. Remember, Kofi Annan,
Okay,
the one who came in to now cool people, because Kenya was burning that time. It was bad. So even in our families, when it comes to when someone is retiring, it's so important to know how to resolve your conflict. If people fight a lot,
we have different ways of solving conflicts. We have mediation, we have arbitration, we have negotiation. Like choose a suitable method, a method that you know that when you use this type of negotiation, this type of solve conflict resolution, I'll be able to resolve conflicts. In history, in high school, we learned about conflict resolution and the different ways of resolving conflicts and how the people from the past used to resolve conflicts. And the major one was it was like mediation. That is whereby you are inviting both parties. That process Kofi Annan used.
And like then the person in the middle is neutral.
Yeah, you hear the side of the story from this side, you hear the side of the story from this side, and now try to resolve it. So during these conflict resolutions in the family, make sure you hear the story from both sides, because so that
only if mediation works. Not all families. Mediation will not work for everybody.
Yeah, I'm just giving an example of mediation. So, or you can even do negotiation. So if you realize that this party is telling the truth and this party is telling a lie, then you will be able to choose. You'll be able to resolve conflicts like in a good way, because you resolve conflict when both parties are there, and also you have to prove the facts and also the lies.
Actually, I don't think there's any point that when someone is retiring and now you have to share the assets, I don't think there's any point that people just share assets peacefully. There must always be a conflict, even if it's a small one, because even me, if I'm there and you're giving me a small portion, I will complain. That one is also a conflict.
Yeah, but there is a wise man. There are wise men outside there who are able to resolve conflict without any glint of like conflict. That will be a good thing. So if you are something who wants to end these conflicts, or you are something who is so peaceful, you don't want conflicts, make sure that you have overseen, you are also satisfied all the people around that area with their decision. So we'll go to this and then we take a break. So there is a seek professional advice. Consider hiring or consulting with professionals such as lawyers, accountants, and financial planners who specialize in farm succession. So basically, farm succession planning can be emotional and challenging, but with open communication, careful planning, and the right resources, it is possible to ensure a smooth transition and the future success of the farm. So guys, I know we've talked about farm succession, and I know you guys are still listening to us. Make sure you are still commenting, you're still asking questions, because we are here for you. We are here to educate you and to ensure that you understand what is this farm succession or farming succession planning. Again, we're still live on Facebook at Farmers Media, on YouTube at Farmers Media, on Twitter at Farmers with a Z, and make sure you click on our website at www.farmersmedia.com. We'll take a short break and then we'll be back. Welcome back, our dear viewers. Welcome to our Farmers Media, where we connect, learn, and grow. Our topic was farm succession planning, and we were still going to talk more about farm succession planning. But before we even continue with this farm succession planning, I would like to introduce you to Nasco Organic. That is a liquid fertilizer. There is this liquid fertilizer from Nasco Organic. This liquid fertilizer is very good for your farm. First of all, because it is a purely organic. It contains, it is used to apply in your farms because it yields the growth of your plants. Your plants will be able to produce high quality yields. Then it also provides nutrients to the soil. It ensures that your plants are getting enough nutrients and ensures that the microbial activity in the soil is still ongoing. So I'll always encourage farmers outside there to ensure that they are able to access to Nasco Organics. You should buy the liquid fertilizer from Nasco Organics because it is something that will help you as a farmer. It will grow not only you as a farmer, but also it will ensure that your yields are even more, and also it is producing higher yields through the use of Nasco fertilizers. So back to the topic, planning and guide. But before I even delve into that, I still remind you that we are still live on Facebook at Farmers Media, on YouTube at Farmers Media, and make sure you click on our website at www.afarmers.com and click on follow us on our Twitter at Farmers with a Z. So back to the topic of the day. So it was training and development. The next generation needs to be adequately trained and familiar with the operations, business management, and necessities for the farm. So this might involve formal education or on-the-job training or internships with other successful farming operations. So training and development is also another crucial role. The moment you train your workers, including your children or anybody else that is working in your farm, if you train them, they develop fully through their minds and also physically, like anything. So that in a way that if you leave them the farm, they'll be able to, they have enough training. They know how to control pests and diseases in the farm. They know how to deal with farming conflicts. You have trained them enough to an extent that they can get rid of anything that's affecting the farm, including the shortage of water.
Actually, when you have when the person who is inheriting your assets is someone who has interest in farming, training such a person is not difficult because it's something they are interested in. They are passionate about farming. They have interest. They'll definitely be there to learn even the different skills that they had no idea about. So when it comes to training, you just know, even during the training, you just know who is interested, who is not interested, how you can handle that person who is interested, because the person who is interested will grasp so fast compared to someone who is not interested. So training them is so important so that at the end of the day, when you see maybe your greenhouse tearing, maybe your fish pond not producing good fish, you'll have someone to blame. You'll have someone to blame because now you can tell the person who has inherited, I trained you on this and this, why is this and this not working? Yeah, so it's so important to train.
Yeah, because you can also learn to take internships. You can give internship to people because you never know. Anything can happen. That intern can come one day and help you in something that you are not even aware. He or she can be able to tell you what is happening in your farm. He or she can be able to get certain education and also learn a lot of things from that farm. And through his learning or her learning, he or she will be able to tell you that this is happening in your farm and you need to do this. I've read about this and this is the way to go forward. So through also accommodating interns and training them, it will be very easy for you even in the future to find other workers, other new workers. If you identify that there was an intern that was in my farm and he did really well, he did a good job, it will be easier for you to identify such kind of hardworking workers, and through that your farm will continue developing and also growing in ways that you can never imagine.
You should also consider non-farming here. So often there are family members who have no interest in farming but still have emotional or financial ties to the farm. So it's important to address their concerns and ensure they feel acknowledged and included in the planning process. So there are those family members who they're not really into farming, But at the end of the day, you are giving out your assets. They are part of your family. Even if there's not so much into farming, you can divide something small for them so that they don't feel that you've left them out. You don't really love them. Maybe in one way or the other, they were emotionally tied. When I talk about being emotionally tied to your farm, this is what I mean. Maybe you have a child who doesn't live around, but he or she is always calling to know her. You have you planted? When are you harvesting? That person, she's not so much into farming, but she's
interested.
concerned. Yes, she's so concerned in knowing how the crops are. If maybe you've made any profits, maybe the person is not even interested in the profits you've made. They don't want you to give them the crops, but they keep on checking whether you're doing well with the farm. That person is emotionally tied. So if you don't give such a person even a small portion of whatever you have, they'll feel emotionally damaged when it comes to, they'll not even be interested in knowing how your farm is doing after now you've divided the assets. Yeah.
So another one is contingency planning. I know that Mary, you don't like death, but we have to talk about it. You have to face something that you fear, by the way.
So that is my biggest fear, by the way.
You have to accept it. When you accept it, you will never be worried. You even forget that it exists.
I don't think you're the one who can convince me when it comes to that.
But there are other listeners that can be very interested to knowing that, many people outside there are really, like, they are aware that death is there. So in contingency planning, unexpected events like illnesses, accidents, or deaths can greatly affect succession plans. You find that you've planned this and that happens. Anything can happen. People get accidents, people die, people do everything. Like, they can be like fate. There is fate. Fate can do anything. So it's essential to have contingency plans in place. This includes having wills. You write the will before anything else happens to you. Power of attorney and medical directives updated. So you ensure that the medical directives have been updated. You've written your will so that if anything happens, first of all, the large-scale farm owners, you never know what will happen. So make sure you have written your will so that even if something happens to you and you tend to disappear, let me not say that. And they tend to disappear and not
disappear into the air.
Yeah, there are other people who have disappeared even and they are being found after 70 years, after 50 years. We have seen that in the news.
Actually, there's the latest story of a woman. The husband got lost, came back after 60 years. By that time, the woman had already gotten another man. But now, funny enough, this woman, she had gotten married. It's 60 years later. The husband is showing up 60 years later. And then this woman is sending away the husband that she got married to later on and saying that now the owner of the home is back.
Yeah, if she was married and she was not divorced, she's still legally the wife of that.
But why should you do that? Why not just divorce and then you move on with the new husband?
Divorce? I don't know.
Nothing happened in Luya land. It was so funny until I was saying, akiwa Luya mtatuonyesha mambo.
Yeah, maybe just imagine something like that happens, whereby someone disappears just like that. You know, as that you'll be in safe hands if you left a will that if anything happens to you, this person will be in charge of this farm. So if you made your decision very wisely, when if you disappear for that years and then come back, you'll still find your farm going on. You'll still find everything intact because you trusted that particular person. So it is very crucial for you to make a will or even be just ready for anything to happen.
Even including death.
Yeah, including great changes in your life.
Okay, let's talk about land ownership and leasing. So decide whether the succeeding generation will own the land outright, lease it, or some combinations of both. This decision can have significant implications for both the retiring and succeeding generations. So when you're leaving maybe your land, you have to know, will they be leasing the land or they will just be owning it fully? There are people who can, do you know, in your place, do you lease lands?
I don't think so. Everybody has his or her land now.
See, maybe now you can get a farmer who is not satisfied with now the space that he or she has. He wants extra.
According to the place I come from, like my village, I've never seen someone leasing a land.
So in my place you can lease. In my place you can lease a land, especially these areas that people plant sugarcane and also maize. Those farmers who practice large scale farming when it comes to sugarcane planting and also maize planting. You can lease land. You just give someone you just agree. Maybe the person can pay 30,000 maybe for 2 acres, and then the person plants in that land for maybe 2 seasons, then anakurudishia. That is how it's done.
I think I have seen someone leasing a land, but not in my area. In Kisumu, I have a friend who leased a land, a rice to plant rice. He planted rice, and they agreed with the owner that he's going to plant rice, but he's going to plant rice in that farm. He's not going to pay anything to the farmer. He just use that farm, and then after harvesting,
you give the farmer the rice.
Yeah,
part of the rice.
Yeah, part of the rice. A certain amount. So that was very fair.
Okay, so leasing a land is basically now you are an owner. Someone else has inherited. Now you agree. When it comes to the process of inheriting, you agree, I'm giving you my land. Will you be leasing it? That is, if you lease it, you're giving it to someone else to farm on it. Then you're giving the person the money. Maybe you can farm on it for 2 seasons or 1 season according to your agreement. Then the person now leaves you the farm again. If you want, you can lease it again to another person. But some farmers are so bad, by the way. Someone can lease for you a farm, can lease to your farm. You plant there. Then the moment your crops do well, you agreed 2 seasons. Now this farmer tells you, no, just take back 15,000. Take back half of your money. I want my farm back.
Yeah, there are different people outside there. There are different farmers. There are other farmers who are owning land because they are just interested. They don't even own land because they love farming or something. They are just doing it for money. And when they get bored or they find other source of income, they tend to leave that land. So when they leave that land, they can decide that I'm giving this land to my son because my son is not a farmer. Yes, there are other people who have sons who are not farmers. But for the love of your son, you decided to give your son this farm. So when you give your son the farm, the son is now the one who he's like a future generation.
Yeah.
So he's the one who can decide if he's going to employ farmers to work there or if he's going to lease this land so that other farmers can be planting there and he will be receiving his share. So during the land ownership, it will also be another crucial step. And then we have incorporate technology, embrace technology and modern farm management practices. That I'll always insist. So this will not only make you make the farm more efficient, but can also ease the transition for a younger generation more familiar with technological tools. So incorporate technology. There are different technology that has been invented in this precision agriculture, through precision agriculture. Equipments have been equipped even with more other features that are really interesting. Nowadays, there are different equipment that can be used to harvest different kind of plants. There are other equipment that you can use to even harvest apples. There are equipment that you can use to plow
observe your farm.
Yeah, observe your farm like drones and satellites.
Yeah.
So make sure that you have also used a certain type of technology in your farm to make your work easier and also to ensure that there is no labor-intensive activities that can drag you down as a farmer.
Actually, in the meeting that we had on Friday, there someone who said that when you want to bring youth to farming, you should try and make farming beautiful by introducing the new technology because the youth they're curious people. They're interested in knowing how does this drone work, how do I observe it. So if you want to introduce or bring youths closer to farming, you have to make it beautiful by bringing in the technology.
Yeah, because technology is very interesting in various ways. Like for me, I'll be very interested if there is a farm that contains different technologies, maybe drones. I love flying drones.
Actually, you love flying. You love using drones because we've never been on any show and you don't mention drones.
Yeah, I love drones. Let me tell you, I love drones. If I'll be given a job of drones, I don't even want to be paid. I just want to fly them because I love doing that. So
you can try them in your farms.
Yeah, for me, I'll be attracted with different kind of technology in that farm. If I were to see something else, maybe let's say there is just certain technology that is being used. Like maybe there are other things that have been introduced to pump the chemicals to the farm. Instead of using knapsack sprayer, that is what most farmers usually use, even in our area. That's a common way of supplying pesticides to your farm. So if they introduce another interesting technology of spraying chemicals into the farm, I'll be very interested because I want interesting things.
You're an example of the youths.
Yeah, I'm an example of the youth. And as for me, I represent the youth outside there. So they will need this kind of technology in those farms for them to be interested in farming activity.
Okay. Hayan is fighting for the youths to come to farming.
Come to farming, guys. We're here with you.
I know you will not love it the manual way. You just want the technology.
Yeah, manual way can be very
Tiresome.
Yeah.
Aki, you're talking as a youth.
Yeah.
Let's talk about.
I used to hold a djembe. Sorry for cutting it short. I used to hold a djembe in our farm, and within a few seconds, not even 1 minute,
You're
I
tired.
had blisters. I told my father I have blisters. My father was like, "Oh, okay."
They should try. Your father should try you with the new technology
Yes,
now. You
you
can
see
spend
that-
the whole day in that
You
farm.
will discover that I'm always there, Monday to Friday. Anyway, that's a story for another day.
Anyway, let's talk about diversifying income streams. So you should consider diversifying the farm's income, such as agritourism, value-added products, or releasing the land for renewable energy to provide financial stability. Let me take an example of the ranch that a farmers media recently visited, the Fred's Ranch. Fred's Ranch, according to how they were explaining, those who visited the ranch, it's a beautiful place because even for them, they went there to learn, but they went there as tourists. So in that way, when you're inviting tourists, when you're attracting tourists to your farm, to your big farm that is now a ranch, they are paying some kind of money. At the end of, yes.
Because there are other tourists that are really interested in agriculture. Those are called agri-tourists.
Yes.
They really love agriculture and they can do anything. They can travel abroad. They can travel everywhere around the world for them to experience what is really going on in the world of agriculture.
Yeah.
So such kind of people can decide to visit your farm if you're practicing agribusiness.
And then at the end of the day, they leave you with money. And then you'll be financially perfect. And then also you can lease your land, because when you're leasing your land, definitely they're giving you some amount of money. You at the end of the day, you've maintained your land. Yes, after that farmer is done with that season or the seasons that you agreed, that land is still yours. But guess what? You have the money. You still own the land, but now you've already also been paid the money. So it's also important when you decide to practice land leasing, and also when you attract tourists to your farm, just like Fred's Ranch is attracting different tourists.
Yeah, because farmers find it difficult to find different sources of that will support them financially. So as a farmer, you have to ensure that you are financially stable by exploring different kinds of ways of earning extra money to your farm. Despite waiting for your crops to mature or waiting for your livestock to give birth or to provide milk, you also have to look for ways of finding other financial sources apart from what you really meant for.
You don't really need to as a farmer. You don't really need to depend on the crops that you've planted. Yeah, you can get money through other means. By the way, if you did know that, now you know. Yeah.
And then you have to document everything. It's essential to document every aspect of the succession plan, from roles and responsibilities to financial agreements. This provides clarity and can prevent misunderstanding down the road. So you have to document everything, just like I said earlier. Keep records of each and every event that is happening in your farm. If on Monday tourists visited your farm, you have to write that, and you have to write the amount of income you earned on that day, or the expenses you used on that day, so that you'll be able to compare the difference between what happened on that day and what remained intact. So you have to document each and every activity that is happening in your farm. If another day you are plowing your farm, you have to document. If it was approaching weights, you have to document, like each and every activity that's happening in that farm. If finances were used, you have to document.
And also ensure you each and every laborer who is in your farm knows the roles and the responsibilities. And also the person who is inheriting should know his or her roles and responsibilities in that farm, so that you avoid these chaos and conflicts each and every time someone doing another person's job. Each and every person should know the roles and responsibilities that they have in your farm.
Yeah, so through documenting these succession plans, you are able to have an easy time while deciding that who is able to succeed in my farm. So after documenting all the roles, responsibilities of all the workers in that particular farm, you will be able to identify when times comes that you want to retire. You will be identifying that. This farmer was in this position, and I'm going to give him this position. So it will be very easy, because sometimes we are human beings and we tend to forget.
Yes.
You find that you forgot that this type of laborer was working on a specific area 3 years ago, and now he's working here. So through that, you'll be able to keep track and also to keep records, because you'll identify that this worker has really done much. He has done his best to reach where he is right now, and through that it will give you an easier time during making decisions.
So after doing all that, you should learn to celebrate milestones. Who doesn't love to celebrate milestones? Personally, I celebrate even that small one. I have to celebrate even that small milestone. So farm succession planning is a journey, and it's essential to celebrate milestones and achievements along the way. This can foster positive family dynamics and keep everyone motivated. Remember, every farm and family situation is unique. So it's essential to tailor the succession plan to fit your specific needs and circumstances. So the ultimate goal is to ensure the continued success and longevity of the farm, while taking into account the well-being and aspirations of all family members involved. So the moment, each and every step that you take, each and every success that you make, maybe now you've planted, let me talk about maybe your spinach, you've planted your spinach, that is a step that you started with. After preparing your land, you planted your spinach, that is a step. You have harvested, they have grown, they have done well. You have to celebrate that, because not all farmers after planting they get good yields. You have to celebrate that. Harvesting and then taking them to the market and getting money, that is another milestone. So you have to celebrate in each and every, you have to be happy. When I talk about celebration, I don't mean that now you have a big party, there's a cake, there are food. No, celebrate it in your own way. As a farmer, congratulate yourself. You have to celebrate yourself in your own way.
Yeah, you know that farmers really need something. They need congratulations. Like sometimes you find that your workers have really worked hard this year. You have done a lot. They have done really a lot, and you have realized that your produce is much. It is something that you are very satisfied. At least say that today I'm going to give each and every person 3 kgs of rice.
Yes.
Because I'm really happy that you did a really good job, and I'm really proud of you guys. So through those words of affirmation, I also give them something. It will bring certain motivation. By celebrating them, it gives them even more motivation to continue working hard toward achieving your goals. And through that, you will be a happy farmer. They will be happy farmers, because their boss is doing really something.
Yeah, they'll be working for you wholeheartedly, by the way. If you celebrate your laborers, they will always be happy to come to work. They don't come to work discouraged and tired. I'm going to the farm, it's now time to harvest. They don't harvest crying, because they know at the end of the day after harvesting I'll be given something small.
At least try to appreciate them as your workers. Try to find ways of ensuring that they are in an environment where they are being appreciated, their work is being appreciated. So through that, you'll gain even trust from your workers. They'll trust you so much in a way that they will never let you fail. Then we have, we can delve deeper. We have assess current operation. Before transitioning, evaluate the current state of the farm. Is the farm experiencing losses? Is this in a good way? Does it have enough finances? So this includes the farm financial health, if it is financially stable, and then the effectiveness of its operation and any areas that may need improvement or modernization. Sometimes you will find that yes, you want to pass this farm to another generation. You want to make sure that this farm is being succeeded by someone else. So before you ensure even that there is this succession happening, observe your farm. Leave your farm in a way that it is financially stable. It is in a good state, in a way that even if you come to complain later, you have proof that you left your farm intact. You can find that the fences are not good, the animals have destroyed the fences. Make sure you repair the fences, you ensure that there is enough supply of water, the crops are growing really well, and so that during the succession, it will be very easier for you because there won't be any complaints that you left your farm with us and it was not good, it was not doing well, doesn't have any fences, doesn't have pipes for supplying water during drip irrigation. So you ensure that everything is catered for, it is financially stable, so that you'll be able to pass it very easily to the next person.
You should also consider off-farm income, because many farming families rely on off-farm income to support the farm, especially during tough times. So determine if this is necessary for your situation and how it factors into the succession plan. Most farmers will realize that it's not like they normally get the money from that farm before they add something. They have to source for money from somewhere else. Then because when you're starting farming, it's when you are starting. It's not like there was money that you are having from farming. It's when you're starting. So it's something new. When you get into farming, source for money from outside. If at all your farm is still not doing perfectly okay, it's still not generating so much money, and there's a problem in your farm, just source for money from somewhere else so that you can boost your farm. Because maybe at the end of the day, now the farm will do better and you'll even get the profits and you will return the money that you had borrowed from somewhere else.
Yeah, so your vision should always stick in your head. Don't just wake up one day and say that I'm going to change my vision and I'm going to do this. No, don't change your vision. If it's something you believed in, it's something that you implemented, then work towards achieving it.
Yeah.
Then we have insurance planning. Ensure that the farm has adequate insurance coverage. Just like I talked in last week, I was talking about insurance and I educated you guys. You can still go through our Facebook page and you can find the insurance part if you don't understand what insurance is, because I mentioned several types of insurances, private and public insurances, and how you can access them. So in insurance planning, you ensure that you have adequate insurance coverage. This can protect against unexpected events, including crop losses, equipment breakdowns, and other unforeseen challenges. If insurance is a safety net, it is something that has been helping farmers over decades. It has been something that has been helping farmers over so many years, because if you have crops, you have to get an insurance in for certain crops,
yeah.
And also for certain pests and diseases,
and also for your land.
Yeah, and for land, and also for climatic condition. You can say that I'm going to take an insurance against drought. If drought happens, then the insurance company will be able to, and your plants were destroyed, the insurance cover will be able to cover all your losses. And even if the drought happened and your plants did not get destroyed, you are still going to be insured. So insurance is something that is a win-win. So sometimes it is good that you take insurance because anything can happen.
You should also consider mediation services. So professional mediation services can be invaluable when difficult decisions or conflicts arise. They offer an impartial viewpoint and can guide the family towards a resolution. So I think we already talked about how to resolve conflicts before. So this is just, you should always consider mediation services in case there's a conflict in your farm, there's a conflict concerning a land that you're owning, or there's a conflict between your children or those who are supposed to inherit your land. You should always consider having mediation services. Actually, it's the best because you'll have a neutral party, and then the neutral party will get to hear from both sides so that nobody feels that it's not unfair to them when resolving such a conflict.
Yeah, for me, I really am always proud of my society where I come from, that is Samburu, especially Baragoi village. I'm always proud of the villagers there because they have a really good way of solving conflicts, and they also practice mediation. You know, when something happens, they don't even call other parties, they're just calling the parties involved, and then wanaita wazee. They are elders, village elders. They sit under a tree, and then each and every person stands and says his or her own problem. Maybe two wives were fighting. They'll call the wives only without their husband. So the first wife will have to stand and say something, and then the second wife, and then they will know. Like, they are always wise people. They always find solution. There is no way that they have never found a solution. And they find that the case is very severe and it needs further attention. They report it to the police station. So in our area, you don't just don't just take you straight to the police station if they found you guilty of something. They must take you first to the elders, the village elders, and then the village elders will take you to the chief, and then the chief will now know know what to do if he is going to take you to the police station.
Let
So
me
it
let me
goes
ask
through
you
a series
something. Let me ask you something about your culture.
Okay.
Maybe it might be away from the topic a little bit.
Uh-huh.
I've seen that Masais. Okay, you are a Samburu.
I'm a Turkana.
You are a Turkana. Sorry,
from
from Samburu.
It's so funny when I tell people that they always assume
It's
I'm a
weird.
Samburu.
Yes, like me, I always assume you're a Samburu, but you're a half caste there. Let me just say you are there. The people from your tribe, you realize that they fight, and that fighting is like a game. And they fight, and they even use things that can hurt people, like those. How do you call those things? Those arrows.
Yeah, but they don't use arrows nowadays. They use fimbo, like wanapigana na fimbo.
So see, they're hurting
And-
each
and
other,
knives,
and it's
yeah.
like a game.
Yeah.
What really happens? Is there a mediator there, or is just a game?
Okay, let me tell you, there is a way that elders are resolving certain conflicts, especially with men. They are youths mostly love fighting for no reason. They love hurting each other. So when the elders realize that these people have been like wamesumbuana for so long, like they are disturbing each other for so long, they just call you, the two of you. The elders stand like far away from you, and then they place a certain. There is one elder that's holding something here, and the other one is holding another one.
Like a rope.
Yeah, like not even a rope. The rope applies for the small kids.
Oh.
But now the elder ones, they use that around 18, 25, 17. They are given. Everybody is given an equal stick. The stick is equal. It is similar, and then you are being told to fight, to start fighting. Mnachapana hapo, mnachapana like you hurt each other until mnachoka. From that time, it will be very hard for you to fight again because you've learned your lesson one way or another. If they realize that you are going to a point that you want to kill each other, now they wanaingilia katikati and then the fight goes. And with that, people learn a lot of lessons out of that. That is how they resolve certain conflicts among the youth, because they know that the youth ni vichwa ngumu. They are really big-headed people.
Tough-headed.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that is how they deal with resolving conflicts. But I don't tell you that you should go resolve conflict like that.
Yeah.
It's just a way of our culture.
I'm so shocked. Actually, I've met Masais who had fought. Until they were fighting. I don't know, for animals and they were using those mishales. Those people were hurt, and they were just walking with them. That mishale is stuck on the head, and the person is just walking as if nothing is happening. The cultures out
That
here.
is not a surprise for me because it's something that I've seen, and I don't feel that it's a surprise.
I'm so surprised personally.
Because when I was young, I used to be taught by my parents how to use arrows. Because we live in a forest, you can meet with anything anytime. So if you say like, and they specifically train you to shoot at the leg, you don't have to kill the animal. You just shoot it at the leg so that it can't find you. Like haiwezi kufikia, you have time to run away. So they used to teach us how to use arrows. Even right now, I know how to make an arrow.
Yeah. Okay.
You can also shoot the nini. I don't know. Unajua fisi, they eat our goats.
The hyenas.
Yeah, the hyenas. They eat the goats. They eat a lot of the small goats. So for you to control them, you have to shoot them with the arrows, so they run away.
Okay.
So that is how we used to do when we were young. I was around 6 years, 7 years, 4 years. Yeah. Even a 2-year-old knows how to use an arrow. Anyway,
I think I'm learning so much here.
That's a story for another day. So let's go to estate planning. Beyond succession, it is crucial to consider how the farm assets will be distributed upon death. This is especially important to prevent potential dispute among heirs. We've been talking about that so many times. I've told you that there are different ways of solving disputes. You have just to choose one that is very suitable and that is effective to both the parties.
Yeah. You also have stakeholder involvement. So beyond family members, consider other stakeholders like long-term employees, landlords, or neighbors. Their insights or concerns can be valuable in the planning process. You have employees who have been working for you for such a long time. They have so much knowledge, they have so much information concerning your farm. Maybe landlords, maybe someone who has you as a landlord, you know so much. If I told you're not a landlord, how do I give such a person a name? Let me just assume you are the landlord. Then you have employees, you have neighbors, because when you're living in a certain place, I don't expect you to live alone. There are neighbors who might be having so much information, even concerning those who want to inherit your lands or your farm. So it's so important maybe to be consulting with the stakeholders, so that you also get to learn a lot from them. Maybe they know something that you don't know about someone. They can inform you and tell you, this kind of person, I don't really think this is the best person to inherit your farm, because I don't see him doing it well. I've been with him as much as he or she is part of your family, but I know him better because I spend much time with him or her.
Yeah, I'll always encourage you guys to ensure that you are always consulting the oldest employees in their farms, because the oldest employee know a lot than you even do as the owner of the farm, because they know each and every activity that is going on the farm. They know the personality of each and every worker. So for you to make a decision, involve the oldest employees also, because they can give you valuable information that can help you even make decisions. And then we have create clear role definition. As responsibilities shift, clearly define who is in charge of what. This can prevent overlaps and ensure that all aspects of farm are effectively managed. You know, there is always confusion between the roles and responsibilities in all workplaces, because there is someone who can took a role in something that, like, say that let's say I'm in charge of looking after the cattle, overseeing everything concerning the cattle, and then there is someone who is looking after the goats and overseeing everything going on about the goats. But he tends to see that the cows are affected by certain disease and takes an initiative towards trying to control them, and in the end ruins the cows in a way. So that will be like responsibilities are not clearly stated. You are assuming that any disease that happens between the cows or the goats, I'm the one taking charge. So people have to learn their responsibilities, and through that you have to state them very clear.
Yeah, we also have exit strategy. Actually, you don't really need, it's not a must someone to inherit. So while the focus is often on transitioning the farm to the next generation, it's also essential to have a clear exit strategy in case things don't work out as planned. So this could be selling the farm, leasing it out, or finding alternative management structures. You don't really need to give someone your land. You don't really, it's not a must someone to inherit whatever you have. There's always an exit strategy. You can sell the land and then have the money. Then the moment you have the money, you can now divide the money amongst the people who are supposed to inherit. It's not a must.
You can keep the money for yourself if it was your hard work.
Yes. So it's not a must. Don't feel that someone has to inherit whatever I have. It's not a must. Don't struggle. Don't kill yourself choosing the person who is supposed to inherit, so that, especially when you realize that people will really fight. Those who are supposed to inherit, they will have so much conflicts. Just sell the land and relax with the money. That is the best exit strategy I can advise someone to use.
Me too. And so feedback mechanism. Create a system. This is the last point actually. So feedback mechanism. Create a system for regular feedback among all involved parties. This will ensure that any issues are addressed promptly and that the plan adapt to changing circumstances. So farm succession planning is a complex process that intertwines family dynamics, business strategies, and personal aspiration. So regularly revisiting and adjusting the plan as conditions change is essential for success. Through careful planning and communication, it is possible to create a roadmap that ensures the family legacy continues for generations to come. So through the using of feedback mechanism, you'll be able to track everything that is happening in the farm. You have to review it. You have to ensure that your employees are reporting to you every time. If they lack certain tools, they have to report to you. So they have to give you feedback. If that kind of pesticide work on your farm, or if it's destroyed your farms, then you have to also tell the person, or even recommend certain fertilizer that can be able to ensure that the farming is going on very well without any other problem. You can also recommend NASCO, that is NASCO fertilizers, which is also a liquid. They provide a liquid fertilizer that can enable the farming to continue well, because it ensures that there is nutrients in the soil, enough nutrients in the soil. It supports the yields of the plants and continuous growth of the plants. So, and you know that NASCO fertilizers, that is the liquid fertilizer, it is very natural and doesn't contain any chemicals or any synthetic chemicals. So through the use of NASCO fertilizers, it is also good for a farmer because it is organic and it is environmental friendly. It's not affecting environment in any way, like the deposition of chemicals, no, because it doesn't contain any synthetic chemicals. Guys, I think we have talked a lot about farm succession planning, and I bet that you guys have already gotten enough about this farm succession planning because we've had a long session.
Yeah.
I know you guys have learned a lot from this session, and I'm really grateful for you guys for continuing being with us for the rest of this show and continuing learning. So I'd like to thank my director, Dotrine or Doti, for continuing directing this program. It was an amazing program. Thank you so much, Doti. And my producer, Mary, thank you for producing this program. And we are still Farmers Media, and continue watching the rest of our shows. We'll have a farm drive in the evening with Duncan and Bosquin. Make sure you tune in and learn a lot from them because they are going to provide a lot about farming and other stuffs about that relate to farming. So guys, it's been an amazing session. I hope Mary has something last words.
I think it's been an amazing show. Maybe in one way or the other, farmers didn't know so much about when it comes to inheriting, maybe the farm succession planning. Most farmers maybe didn't know about that. Now, by the end of this show, now at least you have an idea of what you can do. You can always exit if you can't give someone your inheritance. So it's been an amazing show. I'm so glad that we were able to do this show today on Wednesday. Yes. So I just have my last word. I just like to remind you that happiness is always within you. You don't need to struggle to get happiness from your neighbors, from your friends. Happiness is always within you. When you decide to be sad, it's you. When you decide to be happy, it's you. So let's always try to be happy all the time. Don't be a sad person and don't be a sadist. Always try to be happy. That's all I can say. I've been your co-host, Mary Oswero.
So before we finish, we always finish with a proverb, and our proverb for today is actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. So make sure that during your actions during this succession period, make sure that you are doing something that will enable you to continue this farming after generations. So I'll also encourage actions speak louder than words. I've been your host, Regina Ayanai.
Have a good day.